Good morning, everybody. I hope this finds you living in God's love today and experiencing His peace. We are doing a slow, scenic route walk through Psalm 23, and I had planned on going all the way to the end of verse 1, but then in my afternoon time, as I read through a psalm, I read Psalm 29. And in 11 verses, the word Yahweh, the word Lord in all caps, is used 17 times. David, who is the leader of God's people, wants to embolden their faith in God. He wants to encourage them in a time of crisis. He wants them to lean on God's strength and put their hope in God. And so let me read this chapter to you. It's Psalm 29, just 11 verses, but I want you to pay attention to how David describes Yahweh. Not just who He is, but who He is for God's people. Starts off like this: Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord glory that is due His name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of His holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. And anytime waters is used, not every time, but often it is referring to chaos, to uncertainty, and even in times of uncertainty, David is encouraging us to ascribe glory. The Lord who is over many waters. And then he says, the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon to skip like a calf, and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. You just see that David is building this case that God is greater than their problems. He is bigger than their enemies. He is more powerful than whatever it is that they are facing. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forest bare. And in His temple all cry glory. They cannot help but cry out glory to God when they see and recognize His power and His power for them. Verse 10, the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as King forever. And so in 10 verses, David is describing God as this majestic, powerful being, more powerful than anything they have ever seen or ever can imagine. But then listen to verse 11, and this is the key to the whole chapter. May the Lord give strength to His people. All of that power, all of that strength, all of that majesty is available to God's people, and it is available to you even right now. And then the second half of that verse says this: may the Lord bless His people with peace, with shalom. In the midst of chaos, in the midst of enemies who are trying to destroy them, in the midst of uncertainty, not only is God's power there and available to His people, He gives His people strength, but so is the inner peace, the shalom of God that passes all understanding is there and available to His people. And so today, as you spend another day sheltering in place, whatever you're facing, and I imagine that some of you, the loneliness aches. For some of you, the fear is almost crippling. Finances are at risk. Some of you have lost jobs, and the future is so uncertain and so unknown. But even in the midst of that, you can pause and take a deep breath and recognize who God is, Yahweh. He is majestic. He is powerful than anything you can imagine, and his power is available to you. And because his power is available to you, you can rest in his shalom. You can experience his peace. Your finances are not at peace. Your health may not be at peace. But even in the midst of a decaying world where our bodies literally are decaying, some quicker than others, God's shalom is available to us because nothing can snatch us out of his hands. We are secure. Our bodies aren't secure, our finances aren't secure, but our souls, are secure in the love and power of God. And so soak that up today. Think about that today. And let God touch your heart and give you his peace. God bless you as you strive to live in God's love today.